and welcome. This is Charles Fockaert on November 11, 2017. It's a Monday, and I'm overlooking Overton, Nevada, and this is the shot I took a few minutes ago of the sunrise. The sun is moving, folks, not the earth. The sun is moving our way as we look at this picture. And I wanted to make this video. Oh, this is number 35 in the series On the Road with Charles Fockaert. And I want to thank you for watching and supporting this channel. And I had a chance yesterday to go to the Valley of Fire State Park, and I wanted to show you some images I took while I was there and give you some thoughts. So I thought I would do this video on photography. So let's get to it, shall we? Okay. It sure is good to be alive, isn't it? I don't take any day anymore, and I never really did, but every day is a blessing. I have my health, my vehicle, the mobile cabin seems to be working. Of course, I haven't moved in a well, I did go to the park, and it worked okay there. Emptied the tanks a week or so ago. Oh, exactly 1 week ago today. So I've been here overlooking Overton, as I mentioned, on the bluff, and for 2 weeks in a couple of days. So I'm ready to move out. It's getting a little chilly in the morning and the evening, so I understand Arizona won't be as cold, so I'm going to move on down there. I'm going to see how far I get today. No pressure, no wind blowing. And I had a chance yesterday, like I mentioned, to go to the Valley of Fire State Park in Nevada. And I went to I've been there before, so I knew kind of where to go. And this is the visitor center right there, if I can get it. And while I was in there, I walked around the little museum, and I saw some of the animals that you can possibly see. Right there at the visitor center was a herd, if you want to call it that, of bighorn sheep. And I didn't jump out like the tourists and take a bunch of pictures like they did, because I've seen bighorn sheep up there in Montana quite a bit. So I didn't get a picture of those, folks, but I did get a picture of another animal that I don't think too many people in the park that day got a hold of or got to see. And that's because they went on the normal touristy trails. And I don't like to do that. I did do that here. This place right here called Mouse's Tank. Not too far. The first turn off as you leave the visitor center. And I went on that, and boy, there was a million people on that trail. So I said, I got to get out of here and do something different. Can't stand being around all those tourists. And when I was in the visitor center, I asked the young lady there, where do you like to hike? First I said, are you a hiker? And I knew she was. Are you a hiker? And she says, oh yes. And I said, where do you like to hike in the park? And she told me that she likes to hike right there. And there's a parking lot number 2. And I can go east from parking lot number 2. I'm going to put this in here as an edit. As I was looking back over the video to edit it, I realized that there was a portion of the video left out, and it's at the point where I begin again with the lens. It didn't seem in sequence, because it wasn't. There was something missing. Rather than do the whole video over again, I'm going to put this in here. I show you, I tell you why I bought the camera I did, and I begin with the lens.
And that's why you'll see that I'm beginning with the lens, and that's the reason for that.
I had these other lenses from my other camera, and this lens, this is an expensive lens here. This is a telephoto lens, and I think it's 200 millimeter, and that's important, and I will show you that here in a minute why. But this lens, if I would have bought a Canon or a Nikon, it wouldn't fit on the camera, and I have to buy this lens all over again. The other thing is you can buy these older lenses that are in perfectly good shape, because other people go out and buy a Canon and a Nikon, and then oops, can't use my lens, so they get rid of it at the camera shop, and it makes the cameraman the camera shop owner money, and it makes Canon and Nikon money, but you lose. So I was able to see through that, and so I didn't buy a Canon or a Nikon. And the other very important thing is that the anti-shake in a Canon and a Nikon is in the lenses. They put the anti-shake mechanism in the lens. That makes their lenses more expensive, because there's more to it, more involved with buying a lens that'll fit on a Canon or a Nikon, whereas Pentax is thinking about you and thinking about me, and they put the image stabilization mechanism in the camera. So you can buy a lens, a used lens that doesn't have that image stabilization mechanism in the lens itself, because it's in your camera. So now you can buy these lenses less expensive, and any lens that'll fit on the body of the camera will now fit and be anti-shake in the camera. Now, I thought that was a pretty awesome thing, so that was what got me to buy a Pentax. So let's move on. I want to show you these videos, because today I'm going to head out of here, and I think I'm ready. I'm going to head toward Lake Mead. So let's go have a look at some of the images I took yesterday, shall we? I took this photo when I first got that mouse's tank, because that's what a contrail looks like. For all of those of you who think that those chemtrails that you're seeing are actually contrails, they're not. This is a contrail. Notice how the trail is evaporating as the plane is moving behind this rock. So this is the trail that leads to the mouse's tank, and there was no people on this, so I took a quick shot. There were no hikers. And this is the end of the trail, and right here it drops off, and this is the area here that's called Mouse's Tank. And it was very difficult to get over there, so I looked for a different way. And one of the things I like about this camera, and I'm sure other cameras have it too, is that there's a 12-second button on here where you can put the camera in focus, hit the button, and you got 12 seconds to get to where you want to be to take the shot, and that's what I did here. And this is the Mouse's tank down below, and the water apparently, when it rains, accumulates in this area, certain areas, so they could feed and water their horses and hang out here. Hard to find, and if you didn't know it was there, it'd be hard to find it. And very beautiful. In the images, you can't capture the beauty of nature, I don't think, in a camera, but you can do the best you can. At least I have an image to remind me of where I was and what it looked like. And I was able to capture a lot of unique images that are the images of the rock that get eroded by the wind and the rain, etc. And in the wintertime it'll freeze, and then when it thaws it'll crack. And the beauty all around this area is just amazing. This is a shot looking up from Mouse's tank. I had to hike over this area, and I came along this little ravine or a draw, if you will, to get to where I was. This trail here is also called the Petroglyph Canyon, and this is a lot of the images that are etched on the rock. And this is what we're supposed to be impressed with, folks. You know, if that's the best these Native Americans can do, I wasn't impressed. I was more impressed with these little holes that are made by the wind and the rain and the ice. This is an area overlooking to the point where I was going to go hiking, and this is called the Rainbow Vista. And as you can see, there's a lot of area out there, and that's looking toward the southeast. I took a couple of these because I just wanted to get, I don't take very many pictures of myself, but this is a selfie with a 12-second delay in the camera. And I had to take this. This is another picture of a real contrail. Nice, beautiful blue sky and the contrast with the rocks. And I had to take this. This is the propaganda. This is the brainwash. You are looking across 150 million years of time. Now, the average schmo will walk up to this and go, hey, look at the Earth is 150 million years old and they blah, 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 blah. Guess what? They don't know how old the Earth is. They don't know. They take a number out of their posterior and they put it on this plaque here, and people see, hey, the Earth is 150 million years old. And I don't think so, and they don't know. It might be and it might not be. This is a photo of when I was on the top of the ridge that I hiked to. And this is where the lady at the visitor center says that she likes to hike, I believe. Now, I might be wrong, but it doesn't really matter because I went and had a good time. Now, if you look carefully, you'll see my truck way down there. There's my pickup right there. So I hiked from the truck up to the top here to get a good view, and I want to show you some of the images I was able to capture while I was on my hike. And this is why I like to go off the beaten path, and if you're careful and don't be in a hurry and I'm very conservative when I hike alone because you can get hurt. I've never had a broken ankle or sprained ankle, or you can really. And this isn't too bad because there you got your road. You can hike out to the road. I always carry a whistle with me when I hike and a pack in case something happens. But anyway, I wanted to show you one of the very first things I saw as I left my truck and was headed toward this area here, which was a draw. And let's go have a look at that, shall we? Now, before we get to that, I want to show you this. This is what I call my walk-around lens. It's a 18 to 135, so it's more for landscape. It'll also catch up close, but it also takes the broader view. And I didn't have my 200 millimeter lens on the camera, and I wish I would have, but you can't have it all, and I should have put it in the bag. But a lot of times when you see animals, and I should have probably realized I was going to see an animal and put the lens on the camera before I went on the hike. But anyway, I got a picture here I want to show you, and this is why I like to hike off of the beaten path, because you'll see stuff that the average Joe doesn't get to see. And I don't mean to, anyway, I got a buddy that I talked to on the phone named Joe. Hey, I don't mean to, it's just, hey, anyway. So I wanted to show you one of the very first things I ran across as I left the truck and was hiking over toward this draw. Let's go have a look at that, shall we? So I get to the edge of this bluff drop-off, and I saw movement. And had I been a little more careful, I might have been able to get a better shot. But can you see it? Can you see what I saw? Let me bring it in a little bit for you. There it is, a fox. I forget the exact name of it, but I did see a what do you call them when they catch them and they put them in? Anyway, there was a taxidermist. What do you? I'm at a loss for words now. But anyway, this fox, this type of fox, was in the visitor center, and folks, I got to see this fox, and he stood there looking up at me for the longest time, and I was able to click 3 images of him, and one was blurry. Let's see if I can't get those for you. Here's another one. He doesn't move. Oops, there he is. And one more. He's you know, that made the whole trip, folks, worth it right there. That shot of him. I got to see a fox in the wild in the Valley of the Fire. And this is bighorn sheet scat. Now, I don't have an obsession with scat, folks, so don't take it wrong. But I bought this book at a used bookstore. It's called What Scat That? What Scat That? And it's got pictures inside there of all the different kind of scat. So, I got something I want to do with this, a little theme, but I'll get to that perhaps in the future. But I take pictures of scat, especially the ones I don't know what they are. I've got bear scat, I got cougar scat, I got scat from bighorn sheep, etc. And then if I don't know what it is, and if I don't have this book with me, I will look it up, and I'll know that there was that animal in that area that I was in. And when you see bear scat up in Montana, and it's huge, and there's huckleberries around, you know you're in an area where bears are, and you got to be very, very careful, because bears are a very scary animal, and I don't want to come between the mama bear and the baby bears, because a lot of people get killed. Okay, so it's not something to be taken lightly when you're hiking up in bear country. That's their neighborhood, and if you're perceived to be a threat to their cubs, you got a problem. So I saw a little, that looks like a little chipmunk or a little squirrel of some sort, and that was just above, and the fox had just gone by there earlier, and that's fox food right there. A little blurry. And I like to take pictures of all the tracks. And if you observe, see, when you're walking with a camera and you're taking photos, I think you appreciate, as I mentioned, the world around you, the creation around you, much better than if you're just on a hike. So I took all these photos of tracks in the sand, and then this is a fissure in the rocks. This very, very beautiful area, folks. I don't know what these tracks are, and then right in the middle of all this dry, arid land, here was a beautiful flower that just was boom right there in my face, and I had to take some photos. Just amazing how God is he's the best artist in the world, and a good artist will be able to copy his creation, and not the Esau Edomites who create new art, and then they brainwash people into thinking that that's art. It's not art, folks. This is art. And this is me again looking at the top. I had lunch, and my truck is below again. My truck is right there. I had lunch up here, and this is the view I had. Again, I can't express in words the beauty of the area. Oh, I got home, and I was outside cooking dinner, and I see a lot of geese fly over here. There's a lake to my east, and they fly, I guess, over to Lake Mead, which is to my west. So I ran inside and I grabbed my camera the best I could to take a photo as the sun was setting, and you can see the geese flying overhead. There, look at that long line and the famous V of the geese. And then I had I began to cook my dinner. Again, I had baked potato and chicken on my rocket stove as the sun set. And I got some other lenses. This lens will take up close, so I can get it on a tripod. I have a tripod, and I set the tripod up, and I take photos of insects and flowers, etc. And also, I like this camera because it has the batteries that you can insert, and I have a battery charger, so I can use the panels, the solar panels, and charge my batteries. And I just noticed that this has been unused for a while, so it's starting to corrode, so I'm going to have to remove these batteries, and then I can put that battery pack underneath there, and I can go for quite a while. And also, this camera will take video, so I'm gonna, when I get to Arizona, I'm gonna set it up on a tripod, and I will take some videos like another individual does. Maybe I'll buy a monk hat and buy a crucifixion and hold it up and talk about who's who in the zoo. So I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting this channel, and thank you for being interested. And I do covet your prayers. I'll be on the road today, and nothing's gone wrong with the vehicle, thank goodness, and I'm a lot more relaxed than I was a couple weeks ago. And I want to, again, thank you for your support, and may the grace of God, the creator of all that we see in the Valley of Fire, the creator of the bighorn sheep, the creator of the fox, despite what the Big Bang Theory say. Someone said, yeah, they put an alphabet in a room, and they had a big explosion, and it came up with the unabridged dictionary. That's what people believe. People believe that all of this creation that we see around us just happened, and they've been brainwashed by the Esau Edomites who control the media. Don't fall for it, folks. This was all created. The God, Yahweh Yeshua, he created the world that we see around us, and he put Adam, he created Adam to tend the garden. And we messed that up, but the last Adam is coming, and he's going to make everything right again. Thank you for watching, and may his grace be upon us all, for we certainly need it. See ya.